Previously, in Chapter 2, Part 1, we began exploring the origins of philosophy with the Milesian School. We met Thales of Miletus, the guy who boldly claimed everything is made of water. Sure, it sounds simple now, but back then, it was revolutionary. A scientific hypothesis instead of a myth. Thales didn't stop at water, though. He predicted eclipses, dabbled in geometry, and even cornered the olive press market just to prove philosophers could get rich if they wanted. Talk about a multitasker. Then came Anaximenes, who cranked things up a notch. He introduced the apeiron, an infinite cosmic substance, and even suggested humans evolved from fish. Yeah, you heard that right. He was an ancient evolution theorist and the first guy to make a map. The Milesians didn't just think, they challenged the way people saw the world. And today, in Part 2, we meet Anaximenes, the final member of this brilliant trio, who believed air was the ultimate key to everything. Let's dive in. He is variously reported as saying the sun is as large as the earth, or 27 times as large, or 28 times as large. Wherever he is original, he is scientific and rationalistic. Anaximenes, the last of the Milesian triad, is not quite so interesting as Anaximander, but makes some important advances. His dates are very uncertain. He was certainly subsequent to Anaximander, and he certainly flourished before 494 BC. Since in that year Miletus was destroyed by the Persians in the course of their suppression of the Ionian revolt. The fundamental substance, he said, is air. The soul is air. Fire is rarefied air. When condensed, air becomes first water, then, if further condensed, earth, and finally stone. This theory has the merit of making all the differences between different substances quantitative, depending entirely upon the degree of condensation. He thought that the earth is shaped like a round table, and that air encompasses everything. Just as our soul, being air, holds us together, so do breath and air encompass the whole world. It seems that the world breathes. Anaximenes was more admired in antiquity than Anaximander, though almost any modern world would make the opposite valuation. He had an important influence on Pythagoras and on much subsequent speculation. The Pythagoreans discovered that the earth is spherical, but the atomists adhered to the view of Anaximenes, that it is shaped like a disk. The Milesian School is important, not for what it achieved, but for what it attempted. It was brought into existence by the contact of the Greek mind with Babylonia and Egypt. Miletus was a rich commercial city in which primitive prejudices and superstitions were softened by intercourse with many nations. Ionia, until its subjugation by Darius at the beginning of the 5th century, was culturally the most important part of the Hellenic world. It was almost untouched by the religious movement connected with Dionysus and Orpheus. Its religion was Olympic, but seems to have been not taken very seriously. The speculations of Thales, Anaximander, and Anaximenes are to be regarded as scientific hypotheses, and seldom show any undue intrusion of anthropomorphic desires and moral ideas. The questions they asked were good questions, and their vigor inspired subsequent investigators. The next stage in Greek philosophy, which is associated with the Greek cities in southern Italy, is more religious and, in particular, more Orphic, in some ways more interesting, admirable in achievement, but in spirit less scientific than that of the Milesians. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed exploring the fascinating ideas of the Milesian School. If you love this journey through early philosophy, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Next week, we'll dive into Chapter 3, where even more groundbreaking thinkers await. Trust us, you won't want to miss it. See you then.